And welcome, one and all. It has been a little while, but we are back with an honest-to-God episode of the Apptrepreneur Show. I am your host, Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, and thank you for spending a little bit of your time out of your day with me as we talk about apps, the gig economy, technology, and even a little bit of entertainment on the side. I see Mark's already here. Welcome, Mark. I'm glad to see you. As for everyone else, and for those of you who might be new to the show, the way the Apptrepreneur Show works is pretty simple. I pick up a topic, we discuss the topic, you comment and you ask questions, and then we discuss your questions in between topics. The topics may be varied. It's not just gig economy. For example, we have two stories on gig economy today, but I'm saving one to the end, so you have to watch the whole thing if you want to see that one as well. Or you can just wait till I cut them up and spread them out throughout the other channels throughout the rest of the week, which isn't going to be very much. This is a Thursday. We actually are doing this one a little late. Team D'Angelo says, I get a lot of my news from this channel. You post a lot of good information. I enjoy the Amazon videos as well. Oh, well, I'm glad you say that. In fact, since you enjoy Amazon videos, you should definitely stick around a little bit on this one. So, anyway, Eric Nita says, I want to keep my freedom to work when and whenever I want. Well, that's nice, although if I were you, I would check in the videos I do with Dark Road Run, who is also here. I said hi to you, Mark. I would check out those videos about the pros and cons of Prop 22 either passing or failing. We're doing the failing one on Sunday. But there's a lot more than just getting on and off whenever you want. As they say, as your mom would say, there's more to life than that. But we're not here to talk about that one. In fact, our first main topic is going to be one that people have been asking and they've been contemplating in the comments, in the live streams, whether it's a yes on Prop 22 ad or whether it's a no on Prop 22 ad. They have been asking, who the heck are these people? See this woman in this yes on 22 ad? She claims to be an app-based driver in Sacramento. Her name is Jan Kruger. But is she really a Uber or an app-based driver? They're saying app-based in this one. Let's see if I can start this while keeping the sound off. So we've got her in there. As you can see, she's wearing a mask, by the way. And I think she's the only one in this one, but I have seen others with young men. Some, it's interesting when I say young because we're talking about like 40. We're not seeing the average person who drives an Uber in these ads. We're not seeing a 25-year-old who just wants some beer money. You're not seeing a 30-year-old who just does this on the way to work. You're seeing older, retired people in some cases who are doing rideshare out of the goodness of their heart. It's a very, very touching story when you watch some of these ads about just what a colossal mistake we will be making if we get rid of gig workers. But has anyone actually stopped to wonder, where does a Jan Kruger come from to wind up in these ads? Well, Jan Kruger comes from a casting agency known as Stuart Stone Casting. What is Stuart Stone Casting? Well, it's basically an audition portfolio place for actors that is not the Screen Actors Guild. In fact, I don't even think this is a union. What Stuart Stone Casting says is it is a full-service casting company with principal offices in Los Angeles, California, and Denver, Colorado. So it's obviously convenient that they're in Los Angeles, California. And their selling pitch is, your production needs talent that personifies your brand message. Casting director Stuart Stone finds talent for TV commercials, testimonials, and more. Sounds great. Maybe I should sign up. From real people casting in Middle America to the perfect commercial union actor in Los Angeles and New York, Stuart and his team are ready to cast any production. With over 20 years experience, we always make sure you get the actor you want. I'm sure they don't cover people like George Clooney, though. With offices in Los Angeles, Denver, and New York, we have the geographic presence to expertly cast productions nationwide. And as you see, you have real people, real casting. Click to learn more, and it'll take you to a place where you might find out more. So, casting real people, like I said, mostly commercials. Now, some of you might be looking and saying, well, that's nice, but what does this have to do with the Prop 22 ads? Well, Stuart Stone Casting has actually been sending out ads for Prop 22 ads. Here's two of what those look like, and it's interesting when you look at the two. You have two project details in this one thing. It's a commercial. Shoot dates 9/26/20 through 9/27/20. So hey, there's still time to get in on this one, and you have to be a member of Stuart Stone, obviously. That's why we have to do the screen capture. But the first ad wants principal, male or female, 16 to 60, all ethnicities. This job will pay $1,500, probably for the day. Real people who drive for Uber, Lyft, Instacart, Postmates, Grubhub, Saucy, I keep forgetting about Saucy, or any other driving or driving delivery app platform. This is an open call. We are not pre-selecting talent. Anyone can send in a self-tape. Just follow the attached self-tape instructions. It's a self-tape audition. So that's one of them. The other one is interesting. The other one is specifically looking for Uber drivers. That's probably because this is an Uber Prop 22 commercial. So it's going to be a yes on 22. And it says, see project notes. Current Uber drivers. This is an open call. We are not pre-selecting talent. Anyone can send in a self-tape. Just follow the attached self-tape instructions. It's a self-tape audition. So here's how your Prop 22 commercials get made. Whether they be yes or no, although it certainly seems like they're mostly in the yes game, where they have put out a call, hey, if you're a current Uber driver or a gig worker, call us. Send us a self-audition tape, and we will look at it. They look through the people who send in the tapes, and then they call that person. And now, here's the interesting thing. Whether that driver is a yes on 22 or a no on 22, they give them a script and they say, this is what the commercial is going to be, and we'll pay you $1,500 to do it. Now, some would say, well, okay, obviously the people in the commercials have to be yes on 22, because why would you accept the money and not believe in it? Well, at that same token, why would you do the work when it's super dangerous out there and there's probably at least a dozen or two better jobs that you're qualified for? Probably because you're not in a great financial position to get that work, or maybe that work's not available. I've learned my lesson about generalizing, so I'm not going to say all Uber drivers are desperate, but there are a fair amount of them out there that are. And then there's a fair amount of them who, just want beer money. But whatever one it was, I would say 98% of the people who do this are doing it because they have to in one way or the other. So you call an ad like this. You say, yes, I'm currently an Uber driver. You go there. They give you a script that says you're going to say yes on 22, and that's going to benefit. You read this. You know that if you make this commercial, it's not going to benefit you most likely. But hey, it's $1,500. That's more than Uber and Lyft pay, right? I mean, it is, right? So you're going to do it. You are going to do a commercial, and before you know it, it's airing nationwide looking like this. So for those of you who are watching these yes on Prop 22 commercials, and even the no on Prop 22 commercials, and some of you are probably wondering if they're real, are they, do they possibly have real drivers in there? The answer is yes, they do. They absolutely do. This is how they do it. So, and it should be noted, by the way, one of the reasons that Uber and Lyft, are turning to ads like this. Let's go back to here for a second. and they're requiring that you be a current Uber driver. The reason they do it is because in their ads, they want to honestly say, yes, this is a current Uber driver saying this. They don't have to say that that person is being honest when they speak. They don't have to tell you how much that person actually drives for Uber and Lyft. Heck, that person could technically not even drive for Uber. Maybe their account is just active. They submitted an audition tape. They liked the way they looked, and they said, come and do a commercial. That person hasn't driven for months. Does not matter. The only thing they care is like, hey, they're a current Uber driver. That means they have an active account. That means when we make a commercial, we can put, this is an actual Uber driver. Trust this ad. And that is how it works. But anyway, I would like to know what you all think of the casting process, if you will, on a Prop 22 ad. Do you think this is sneaky? Is it what you expected? Did you just genuinely not know? I would love to know what you think. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. As always, blame responsibly. Have a good one. All right, let's see if we have any comments. Dark Road Run says, I bet Jan's a paid actor. You were probably ahead of the curve on this one. And James says, I have dead, I guess, given 12,000 trips in 3.5 years driver Uber. That's nice. Mark says, I'm 62 and I do it for money. Give me the damn money. That's what a lot of people say. And James says, I have DOD. 12,000 trips driving for Uber is 3.5 years. I don't know what DOD is. And Jody says, either way, people vote for Prop 22 are going to get screwed. Well, in their eyes, maybe they're not getting screwed. I think they're not doing themselves any favors, but, this is what the live show portion is about. I can't tell you what to think. You have to think yourself. I can just tell you what I believe. All right. Well, folks, with that said, we're not going to get to our next rideshare related topic yet, but we are going to talk about main topic number 2, which involves Amazon. Now, Amazon had, what should I say? What was one of their thing? What's their thing called? They had like a technology day, a device unveiling day. I don't know. They had this big promotion or presentation to shareholders about a bunch of things that they are going to be making in terms of their products. When you go to CNET, they announced some 13 new devices that's going to join the Amazon family. Now, I will not be buying any of these. Obviously, I'm not going to be buying any of them. But, we can still talk about what the devices are and whether or not I think they're cool or not. The first thing they announced was Amazon Luna, which is a cloud gaming service that's going to start at $6 a month. It will run on PCs, Fire TVs, and even iOS. And there's a Luna Plus game channel with a curated set of games, and Amazon is partnering with publisher Ubisoft for day one availability for some of them. And this is basically what it sounds like. It's cloud gaming. It's basically Amazon's response to Google Stadia, which I still have but don't really use anymore, so I'm probably going to cancel soon. And Xbox xCloud, which I haven't used at all, but then I haven't gotten the service yet anyway. So, and I can see games that are available on these other services like Sonic Mania, Yooka-Laylee, Indivisible, which I enjoy. Steam World Dig 2, that's a Stadia game, and Rime. These are all games that apparently you can play on Amazon Luna. Now, some people might be asking, well, if it's a gaming cloud thing, I can't just play it with like the Amazon Fire Stick. What do I do? Well, they also announced a controller, a $50 controller. Now, in all fairness, I do believe with Luna, whatever controller you currently have, as long as you can connect it to the PC, you can play. But if you want to play on your TV, and speaking of games, Epic just let me know that there's a new free-to-play game. You would probably want to get the Luna controller, which, looks nice. It's, I think we've kind of gotten to the point where the Xbox controller has kind of become the standard, if you will. Because whenever someone makes a knockoff controller, it's always an Xbox one. So, anyway, that's the Luna controller. That'll cost you $50. They also announced like a new Echo, which I will not get, and this one is sphere shaped, and it's able to adapt to the acoustics of the room, which, yeah, that terrifies me more than it comforts me because, as you all know, the Amazon Echo has been caught recording people without their knowledge and storing that information on clouds. So now they've built a device that, well, collects that data just a little bit easier. And I don't think I want it in my room. They have also announced a Echo Dot 4th generation, again, sphere design, and the Kids Dot edition, which, yeah, just look at that cute little face. Look at that cute little face. It's like we're spying on your kids and we're going to put like a cartoon character on it. That's wonderful. Now this one's kind of funny though, a dot with a clock. So there's like, you can actually check out the time, and I mean, it's cute, I'm not going to lie, but I'm still not getting it. Then you have the Echo Show 10. Now, this is basically a Zoom device. It's a little screen that through Amazon servers you can talk to friends and family members, and you do it through this thing called the Echo Show. And of course, all these conversations are recorded and they're stored, so you might want to keep that in the back of your mind, but they're getting into it. This is going to be like a $250 thing. Then you have an Eero, which is basically Amazon's router. It's a Wi-Fi 6 and Zigbee support. So yeah, it's a router. Then you have the Eero Pro 6, which is basically the same as the Eero 6, as they say, but it's designed to handle higher bandwidth. Then, here's a big one that they announced. Ring Car Connect. And this is why your Tesla stock went up today, if you bought it like I did. Because it's going to be debuting with Tesla. The Connect uses a vehicle's built-in external cameras to capture video in the event that something happens to the car while driving or parked. There is no product on Amazon yet, but we'll add it when it arrives. And then here's the fun one. Ring Always Home Cam. This is, I kid you not, an autonomous camera that can fly with your home on a pre-programmed route or fly to a motion detection area. So basically, if your kid is walking to school every day and you want to keep a little extra, attention on him, this Ring camera can fly and record him. I'm kind of curious how the aviation laws, I should say, are going to respond to such a device. And we have a Fire Stick TV Stick 2020, as well as the Lite Edition. And those are the last products, but really, these two are the big ones. The fact that they have like a security in your car, and it's premiering with Tesla, so that's obviously going to be a huge deal. That's interesting. I don't want Amazon's cameras anywhere near my house or my property. I don't trust it at all. But hey, if you want a little security in your car, I guess Amazon wants to help you out with that. And again, you have this autonomous flying thing, which if this thing... See, I don't know why you would need your camera to fly for the most part. And it is a little concerning because what happens if you have like a teenage son who figures out the route of Jessica from down the street and decides, hey, I'm going to have this thing follow her and maybe even fly outside some windows that I shouldn't be peeking into. I don't know. Out of all the products that they announced, this is probably the least exciting because it's just a router. I am kind of interested in this Amazon Luna thing, though. I don't think I'm going to get it, though. I've got Stadia. I will probably soon have xCloud. And I think it's even interesting that Amazon's even getting into this because Stadia has not been a success. No cloud gaming has been successful so far. I mean, they've got subscribers, but they're not making money yet. So, I don't know. All I see is Amazon doing it and doing it with games that I can get anywhere else I want. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave this topic. What about you? Do any of these devices intrigue you? Will you be getting any of them? And what do you think? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one. All right, let's, hey, we've got Rideshare Source Driver here. Welcome, buddy. Let's see. Dark Road Run says we should get Jan on the podcast. You know, that would be interesting. If we could get Jan on the podcast, that would be funny. Rideshare Source Driver says, man, I was just thinking you're probably the one sane driver who is honest about Uber. Everyone else praises them companies still. Imagine having kids relying on rideshare. Oh, yeah, no. I'm very honest with everyone. Get out of it as soon as possible. In fact, I'm going to share a fun little story. I don't know if I've shared this before, but you could look this up. I was on a few months ago Rideshare Tricksters podcast and Driver Sensei and Dark Road Run and like Uberman Tampa. They were all there. Good guys. I can disagree with them. They're still good guys. And they were all basically talking about how, people who really need this, who rely on this income, they're going to be losing, and that's not a good thing. Now, one thing I didn't get to say during that live stream was because actually, while I was on it, I started feeling really sick for some reason. So I kind of said my goodbyes, and I rushed to the bathroom, and I had a wonderful night of food poisoning that night. It was great. But one of the things that I didn't get to, because Driver Sensei made this thing made a big deal about well, would I resort myself to this to eat? Well, maybe not. What about my wife? Well, maybe. What about my kids? Well, yeah, I'm getting behind the wheel of the car. And look, the point was taken. Yeah, if you're desperate, you'll do anything. But I kind of argued, maybe knowing that mostly desperate people use this service, maybe that's a strong indication that we shouldn't be supporting this. Because it's look, there's a reason we've unionized certain industries. There's a reason certain jobs went away, because they were built on predatory and taking advantage of the people who do work for them. They took advantage of them, and they were predatory in nature. And we know this to be what the gig companies are. And if we know that, why are we letting them be around? People don't always make the smartest choices when they are desperate. They don't even necessarily make the best choices when they are desperate. They tend to, make choices that are not very good for them in the long run. And so I will always tell people, get out of it as soon as you can. Dark Road Run says Prime Day. Yeah, now Jody says, Amazon better be careful, because Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft, 3 of the biggest game companies, might have problems with Amazon doing this, because Amazon is not a gaming company. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If Amazon wants to make it, they're going to do it. I mean, Microsoft was not a gaming company when they made the Xbox. So if you want to enter this business, you're free to enter this business. Whether it will be a success in the long run, who knows? Rosworld says, I thought this was about Prop 22. We've already discussed Prop 22. We're talking about the other topics now. Rideshare Source says, Amazon missed on launching Amazon vibrator device. And Clean MPG says, people that rely on Uber and Lyft are screwed before they even start. I agree. Rideshare Source Driver says, I started driving because I needed to leave my boss and easy to transfer to Uber Lyft. Now being stuck for 5.5 years, most unintelligent I've ever been. Past 2 years, worst incomes ever. Well, and that's why you make the videos that you do. All right, folks, we're going to move on to main topic number 3. And admittingly, this one's probably more for the Failed Journalist channel, but do not fear. After this topic, we will return to the rideshare game. And Disney made a huge announcement yesterday, and it was quite devastating in many ways. They delayed all of their movies, save for one, to next year. One stayed here, I'm sorry. Death on the River Nile is still coming out in December, and Soul is still coming out November 20th. But Black Widow moved to May, West Side Story moved to the following year, the following December, December 10th, 2021. And then there were immediately questions about whether or not the theaters could survive such a pushback. Now, I said that ultimately I think they will. I still believe they will. It's going to be tough, though. They will have to start thinking outside the box on what they can do as a business, because until there's a vaccination, people just aren't going to be going to the movies the way they were. But I also saw the danger in it because, Disney was the provider of 8 of the 10 highest grossing films of the year last year. And so for them to basically wave the flag and move their movies out of the year, that is going to hurt the movie theater industry that desperately needs movies. And well, we now have some discussion that, theaters might start closing again as a result of this. Now, here's what the head of NATO, the National Association of Theater Organization, said. We need big movies. We'd hoped that Disney would hold on, but studios have to make their decisions based on their marketing spend and their marketing plan. If they aren't certain that theaters will be open, they're going to delay. We're gratified that they're moving and not going to Disney Plus, which I think that has a lot to do with Mulan not doing nearly as well as people think it did. If Mulan had done well, Black Widow would have been going to Disney Plus. But anyway, that's kind of an important statement. But until we get some of the certainty, we may be seeing theaters close back down again because it's really tough. If you don't have new movies coming in to keep the lights on, to keep paying people, you lose money being closed, but you may end up losing more money if you can't get audiences in and you're open. So basically what they're saying is that, look, movie theaters might have to start closing down. Like, we can't just show Tenet, which is amazing, by the way, forever. Tenet through September, yeah, that'll work. Through October, maybe most of October, because, people are still getting used to going out to the theaters. November, we can't keep showing Tenet. What about anything else? There's nothing else in October. There's nothing else in September. Well, September's coming to an end in a week, but yeah, there's nothing in October that's coming out. Okay, well, what about old movies? Well, that's going to get some interest, but it won't be that way forever. Sure, it's kind of neat that you can go see The Empire Strikes Back in theaters right now, and I'm seeing Akira in 4K IMAX tonight. That's going to be pretty awesome, I think. But for the most part, there's really nothing to see. And, I mean, my wife and I were looking at each other, and I kind of said, so, how we reactivated our Stubs and Unlimited accounts? That's probably going to become like a charity donation next month, because there's just not a whole lot to see, and we're not going to be going to the movies. So, and I think the theaters might actually even save some money. Like, yeah, they'd have to still pay the rent if they were closed, but they wouldn't have to pay the staff. They could furlough the staff, and the staff can get unemployment. And I've even noticed, like, I checked out next week's showtimes on my AMC app, and I've noticed that there's no showtimes before 4 p.m., so they're already adjusting the hours to try to save some money. But this is definitely a little disappointing. I do think, though, that if this happens, it won't be like a blanket thing. Some markets are still not open, and when they open, they will probably reopen because people haven't been to the movies in a while, and they will want to collect their money. There might be some areas where it's like, okay, well, we've got 5 theaters in this town. We only need 2 open, so we're gonna temporarily shutter the other 3, and people can come to these 2. And in some cases, some theaters might close down permanently, and then either someone else will buy them or they will remain shuttered. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? It's pretty sad. It's really sad to think that one movie, well, it's really more than one movie, but everyone's focusing on Black Widow, really screwed this up for everyone. I was kind of thinking that they would keep that November 6th release date, maybe even release it 2 weeks sooner, and then they would have like a month and a half of the theaters to themselves, and people would leave the house for Black Widow. I mean, I hate to say it, as much as I like Tenet was probably a little too cerebral for most audience members. It's too confusing. It requires you to really think about what's going on. You might even have to see it a couple times to fully grasp what is going on, and maybe that just was not the right movie to open the theaters back up with. Maybe Black Widow should have been that movie. I don't know. All I know is I love going to the theaters. It'd be a shame if they all close again, but maybe it won't be so bad this time. I don't know. But I would like to know, what do you think about this? Like, have you gone back to a movie yet? Are you comfortable, or does this disappoint you? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Anyone else leave any comments? Does not look like it. But for those who are watching, thanks for watching. Let's see here. Jody says, I think Disney as a whole is acting like a bee about the whole pandemic. I do agree with that. Them begging the governor to reopen Disneyland as if, that's just like, and then, yeah, a lot of companies are, but they're probably a little worse about it. And Rideshare Source Driver says, I hope it's not a problem. All right, well, anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to our final main topic. Now, I'm going to use this topic to also, do a little bit of self-promotion. I don't know if you are aware, have started selling merchandise. This is what the shirt looks like. It's our only saying so far, but more obvious sayings are coming, where it says, want a future, don't do Uber. And we have this in mask format, by the way. And we're going to be having all of our future sayings in mask, t-shirt, mug format anyway. But we're bringing up the mask specifically because Uber now requires people to wear a mask. Now, people have been coming to me and saying that they have not been wearing the mask like Uber's been demanding them. They wear the mask, verify it, and then they take it off. Or they take it off between customers. You know what? Here's the thing. It's your car. You can do what you want. But as one more knock against Prop 22, if you think you're an independent contractor and like, hey, I don't want to wear a damn mask, I'm an independent contractor, well, I've got some bad news for you. Because Uber is cracking down on riders that violate the mask policy. In fact, I hear that they have suspended more than 1,000 accounts if you don't wear them. So here's the article. Uber is introducing a new mask verification system for riders as hundreds of customers have been removed from the platform for multiple violations of the ride-sharing services mask policy. According to Uber, every rider who has been reported by their driver for not wearing a mask will be required to take a selfie while wearing their mask before they can get their next ride. As of this week, Uber said in a statement the service has removed more than 1,250 riders from the platform due to multiple violations of the no mask, no ride policy, which took effect in May. Uber had already implemented a mask verification feature for drivers and said the same feature is now available for riders. So this is kind of an update, really, of a story we did earlier. At first, Uber was only cracking down on the drivers, which, again, you're not an independent contractor, you're an employee. Prop 22 passing will not change that, and Prop 22 failing will just enforce that you're not, an independent contractor. So, just some food for thought. But yeah, originally they made this mask verification system for the drivers, which at the time I remember thinking, well, that seems a little unfair. Why aren't the passengers also getting this verification feature? And now it is here, and if you are a passenger, and you probably get enough of these complaints that you're not wearing a mask, even if you're verifying it, it means that you're obviously taking a picture and then you're taking the mask off, you will have your account suspended. And, of course, with Uber drivers, it should be reiterated that this does not change anything for you. If you have too many complaints that you are not wearing a mask, then you will also be deactivated from the Uber platform. It's pretty simple right now, folks. You want to do Uber, you wear a mask, whether you're driving or riding. But I guess since that was a fairly short one, I will just ask, what do you think about the policy, or the extended policy, I should say? Do you still agree with it, or do you still not agree with it? And what are your thoughts? Have you had situations where drivers or passengers took off their mask after they verified themselves? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. All right, let's see here. Eric says, I do deliveries and I don't feel like I'm being used. I love the gig job. So that's fine. Is it wrong for me to want to vote yes? No, it's not wrong for you to want to vote yes. If you want to vote yes, you have a reason for voting yes. And I think you're making a mistake personally, but if you feel you're not making a mistake, that's fine. That's why it's called voting. You get to have your voice heard. You get to say your peace of mind. That's fine. Let's see here. Righteous Horse Driver says no to Uber, yes to the future. He also says, I think if driver doesn't wear a mask and rider gets infected, mask could have been lawsuit insurance. Probably. And he also says no mask, drink from the flask. That drivers aren't fully independent doesn't mean that they are employees theoretically. Well, no, it kind of does. I mean, if you've got an invisible boss who can deactivate you and make the rules and set your prices, and yeah, that kind of sounds like you're an employee, not an independent contractor. And so I've been saying that for a long time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time to join me. If you missed any particular topics, we will be cutting them up and putting them not only on this channel, but on the Failed Journalist and the Apptrepreneur Media channel as well. Thank you so much for taking your time to spend with me. We normally do the show on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which because this is my 1-year anniversary of being able to convince my wife not to kill me, that got completely screwed up. So we're doing this on a Thursday this week. But hey, next week we should be back to more normal schedule. So here you go. And hey, Brian, how you doing? I'm voting no go plug power. Yeah, I'm gonna buy some more plug probably this week. But seriously, Brian, diversify your portfolio. Don't lean in on one stock too much. Although you know what stock really is like hurting me right now? The Tesla stock. Not the Tesla. No, not Tesla. Tesla's doing fine. Nikola. That Nikola might actually not have been a wise investment, but we will see by the end of the year. It'll be a very hard lesson learned if it ends up going completely belly up. Anyway, most of my stocks are doing fine. So anyway, we will check you out on Monday or Wednesday. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.